Hello, guys. Welcome. Today, I'm going to talk about some few questions that came up from the videos that I did, so that when we are going tomorrow, we will be good. People are very eager about tomorrow. People are waiting, and it's a good thing, guys. We are going to check tomorrow and see if we were selected. Now, as I always say, remember this is a lottery, guys, and I need you to be okay. Whether you win or whether you do not win, I need you to be okay. I need you to be okay. So today I'm going to talk about questions. This is Charity's Baba USA, your number one channel. My name is Charity Nganga, and let's see what people asked. Now, there's this lady who was about the email. She kept on saying she thought that the email is the one that you use to open for the confirmation. No, you don't use the email to do the confirmation. And if you watch this video over here, you are going to see how you check for the results. Now, when you're checking for the results, the only thing you need is a confirmation number, the year of birth, and your name as you typed it when you were applying. Remember the punctuation. If you did cap locks, that is capital letters. If you did small letters, whatever you did, you must enter the way you entered your name. And you find that the confirmation number normally has your name there, and it has your date, your year of birth, actually not date of birth, I apologize, your year of birth. And the way it's written there on your confirmation number is how you're going to enter. So very, very important in detail, guys. Now, where does the email come in? The email comes in if you have lost your confirmation number. That means when you did your application in October, you misplaced or you lost your confirmation number. On that website, in the same video that I did yesterday, are the one that so you find that you will find a slot whereby you're going to enter all that. But at the end of the day, when you are checking for a lost confirmation number, it will prompt you to use an email address. And that is why I was saying the email address is very, very important. Because if you have lost your confirmation number, they will send the message to that email that you used. So it's important, because if you lost your confirmation number and you don't remember the email that you used, how are they going to verify it's you? How are they going to be able to send the message? And you find that this is a computerized thing. It prompts the computer. It's like when you're resetting your password in an email. That email is connected maybe to your phone number or is connected to another email. Now, if you do not have that email, then there's going to be a problem, because there is no way that the computer is going to know it's you. You see what I mean? So remember that email that you used only if you lost your confirmation number. Of course, after you have checked and you have been selected, they will still use that email. So it is good when you're going to fill out your DS-260 to mark that email, to know that this is the specific one. And then when you have known that this is the specific one, what I can advise you to do is to open the email on your phone. Most people have smartphones. And if you do not have, let me not be ignorant and say that most people have smartphones. If you do not have a smartphone, write it down, guys. Write it down and have it, so that when you fill your DS-260, when you are waiting for your second notification letter, you will keep on checking that email. Even if you don't have a smartphone and you have the information on that email, you can always go to a cyber and you get that information. So it's very important for you guys to know that. Very, very, very important. So like I said, the email only happens when you have lost your confirmation number. Now, let's talk about this other person who was telling me that he applied as married, but by that time, the girl was a girlfriend. Now, if you had applied as married and you're living together, and he was saying that they have a child, that is your wife, guys. And I told you guys that customary marriage is recognized in Africa. We do the custom, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing, the customary marriage. Now, what you need to do is that you will just formalize your wedding. Like, just go to wherever you will go, the DC office, or I know the systems have changed. But wherever you can go and do a wedding, it doesn't have to be a big wedding, guys. And I told you, you don't have to spend so much money on the wedding, because you will be required, after you win your DV lottery, you will be required to use a lot of money. So please don't worry about that. The problem comes in whereby you had filled out single, right? When you filled out single, and then the DV lottery has just happened. We have checked the results on Saturday, and then someone tells you, why don't you add me there? The problem comes in when you add people, because that means that you are making them have that think that you have a motive of benefiting another person. You see, it's not that they don't like to share, but you find that you have to be truthful. So if you had filled out single, and maybe you got married before the DV lottery results were announced, then you can always go and get that marriage certificate. If you have been married for 10 years and you don't have it, because some people do not have it because it is not required. Hmm? That's why I didn't have a marriage certificate when we won our DV lottery. What we After we had been selected is when we went and got a marriage certificate. And actually we didn't do a wedding. We just went second mass, and we were blessed by the priest, and then we signed our papers, and that's it. That's what we did. So it's very, very important for you to know that there are pastors who are certified to do weddings. So you can approach your pastor, go with the witness, and you go and marry. You don't have to do Paris, big Paris. This is not the time that you'll be thinking of 100,000 or 1 million Kenya shillings, or whatever the currency that you're using wedding. No, just go and do it. Do it simple, and then you get your document, because that marriage certificate is going to be required. Now, on this issue about the kids, like I said, is that they are not going to after living here for a long time, and I like to listen and to read and whatever, is that the way America is, they don't like separating families. They do not like doing that. So you find that if one spouse is you had filed as married, and one spouse doesn't want to, it's very, very important for you to make them to understand, that because you are married, unless you are legally divorced or you are legally separated, that is the only time that one of the spouses is not going to benefit. But when it comes to children, they might deny you. If you had written there that you are married, you wrote that your husband is there, and now you show up in the embassy by yourself. It's going to be a problem, guys. And those are some of the things that we have to know and we have to face. You know what I mean? We have to face. So it's very, very important for you to know that. Now, most people are talking about hosts, and I am not going to talk about a host right now, because we have not been checked. You have not been selected. It's a lottery, guys, and you have to remember it's a lottery. So don't think about the host right now. If you're asking about the host tomorrow, after you have checked, then that's a different thing. That's a different thing that we are going to talk about. So it's very, very important for you to do that. Now, there's a comment that I got on the previous video that was saying that if you are married or if you're separated, I think that person got that statement wrongly. Now, when I talked about that video, you find that, let's assume that you are separated. And that is what they indicate in their instructions. If you go to travel.state.gov and read the instructions, they say that you must fill your spouse. You must enter the information of your spouse, even if you are separated and plan to divorce. Even if you are separated, you enter your spouse. That was in the application, even if you plan to divorce. The other one asked me if she was born here in the US and their spouse had won a DV lottery, if they are going to be checked the same. No, they are not going to be checked the same. If you are a legal permanent resident, you do not need to go back again through the green card process. If you're an American citizen, you don't even need to. It's funny that I've talked to several people, and most people do not, like, they ask you, how did you come here? And then you tell them, I came with a lottery, and then they're like, what's the lottery? Because most people do not know it, because they are American citizens. It's like the way you live in your country, you are born there and whatever. and a foreigner, they tell you that they're there, but they do not have maybe an idea or whatever. You would wonder, how does the process come about? It's the same here. Because if you were born here in the US, like the last thing to cross your mind is a DV lottery, because you're not going to think about it because you don't need it. You see what I mean? So most people who are born here, they don't understand it very well. And it's okay because they don't need it, because they're citizens, they don't need it. But when it comes to you as the DV lottery person, you find that whether you're married to an American citizen, whether you're married to a legal permanent resident, that is your own DV lottery. And it is going to be a process, just like they process the others, regardless of whether your husband is a citizen or your husband or your wife or whatever is a legal permanent resident. So it's very, very, very important for you guys to know. And that is why I have clarified about that. Now, this one says, I lost my confirmation number. Remo, Eunice, now go to the video. Now, this video is telling you how to check the confirmation number. Make sure you have your email. If you don't have your email, you'll be in trouble. But if you do have your email, I have talked about that information, and you will be able to retrieve your confirmation number. So very, very, very good question there. The other people are saying, I will be fine. I have applied more than 10 times. Yeah, you will be just by faith, guys. I cannot tell you that you will get it because you have applied 10 times. We just go by faith, because this is a lottery, guys. And I keep on saying, I like to emphasize that it's a lottery, because I do not want people to start throwing stones at me because they did not win. No, it's a lottery. The computer selects randomly. Okay, now let's see. So this one was asking if they check together and separate, and then the person replied to them and asked them what they will be doing inside the airport. If the person is coming in, the DV lottery person, like the permanent resident, because when they process you, they give you the visa when you're coming in and you are admitted, you are a permanent resident. The only thing that maybe the person that they were talking about, even if it's a spouse or whatever, they will just go there to pick them up, because you have to be picked up by somewhere by someone. When you win the DV lottery, your host is gonna pick you up. It's not the business whereby you're gonna come in and then you enter. Maybe you reach Wichita at the airport and you're calling a cab. Where are you going? You don't even know the address. So it's very, very important for you to, when you have connected with your host, and here the hosts need to be very accountable. And we said that I think I should do a video about the hosting, because there's some hosts who are horrible. They tell you that they are going to host you, and then they disappear at the 11th hour. So we're going to have that conversation, because that conversation is important and it's real. So guys, I wouldn't worry about a host right now. I would worry about a host if I have been selected. So that is that. Okay, there's another one who asks, what if you are divorced, then married again with a child from the previous married, and you do not know the whereabouts of the father? The father. If you don't know about him, that's fine. If he abandoned you, that's fine. You don't have to think about him. You're already married. When you got married, your husband, of course, in our culture, whereby when a girl gets married and they have a child, that man who marries them becomes the dad to that child. That's how it is. It's not US whereby you find that if you had kids from different men, that all the kids, they have to know their parents. The African way doesn't happen like that. You know, most men in Africa, when you're separated, they just go their way and they forget about you, and that's the reality. They forget. They don't show up again. You have moved on. You are you're married to another husband, and that husband married you and you had that child. Of course, they embraced your child. That is the dad to your child, because you don't expect that other man to show up. Most of them don't show up. There's some who have started showing up right now. Most of them will even outright deny that is not their child. Those cases happen. So don't worry about that person that you were married to before. Who cares about that person? Don't. Please don't complicate this thing. I do not want you to overthink. I want you to read the instructions. I want you to understand that this is how it goes. So don't think about that. But even let's assume like you are married, right? And your husband disappeared, and you haven't seen them in like the last 10 years. Maybe they moved on with other people, and you have been taking care of the children. and you feel single. Yeah, you are single. You know what I mean? Because that man abandoned you. You cannot go to look for someone you don't know where they are. So that person, the man that you're living with, that's your husband. And of course, they're not going to go and ask you whatever. No, they won't ask you all that. Unless you are married and you have a legal marriage certificate. You didn't have that. Because if you have a legal marriage certificate, those are records that show that you were married. But let's assume like you had stayed with a person for a short time and that person decided to disappear. There's nothing to show about it, so don't bring it up. I wouldn't bring up something like that. You know what I mean? Don't bring it up, because that you don't even have proof to show that you were married to that person. You see what I mean? So it's very, very important for you to know that, unless you are married and then that man is still in the life of your child, that's different. But if you don't even know where someone, the African way is funny. It's so funny because someone just disappears and they want to come back when things are good. So don't stress about it. That is your husband. You filled that as your husband, and that's it. They tell you to fill out your stepchildren. They tell you if you have adopted kids legally, you fill them there. Hmm? So it's very, very important for you, like, not to stress about it. Don't stress about that information. That's a very, very, very good question. Okay. This one is funny. Janet Morgan is saying, what about you get kids with a man who refused to even step at your home to see your parent? Is it okay to feel single? Yes, you are single. You're single. It's only that you had a baby. And if they did not even acknowledge that pregnancy, then why are you worried about such kind of a person? I wouldn't worry about such kind. They were not even in the life of that child. So don't worry about those people if you were not married to them. Okay. Let's see. So this one was for the one for the US citizen. So that one, don't worry about that one. Let's see. Okay. Let's say you are separated and plan divorce. Must you add your spouse? If you are legally separated, guys, legally separated, it's very, very important for you to know that if you're legally separated, they say that you have to add your spouse, even if, because they are not going to benefit. If you have that paper and you're separated, that means that they have gone their way and you have gone their way. Then they won't force you to go back together so that you can travel. No, they won't. But what I know is that they are not going to let you uproot your kids from what they know and come with them as one parent and leave the other parent with no explanation. They're not going to do that. That's for sure. They will not do that because they don't like to separate families. They don't like to separate families. Like I've been following this war in Ukraine. And when I follow and I listen, you find that the major thing, like the worst thing that the Russians have done is to separate families, because you find that the men have to be left in Ukraine to fight the war. And the women have to go to Poland to become refugees. So you find that what this Russian war has done is that it has separated families, which is wrong. It is not right. The same thing would apply if you feel as married and you are married, and then you show up or you want to fill out your DS-260 that you are single without paperwork to show that you are separated or you're single, or because those questions will come up again. We'll fill out the DS-260 and they will come up again. So if there's that conflict, dialogue works, guys. What I say is that someone can be so bad, or maybe you think that that person is very bad, or they are very rude, but why they are acting like that is because they don't know much information. They don't have so much information about it. So, and most of the time you find that that person might be so upset and so aggressive, and then you become mad. You become not mad. Let me say, you become so mad. That's the word that we use here when you're angry. Here we say that that person is very mad. So instead of like approaching that situation in a calmer way and trying like to reason with that person, you find that even you become so upset or so mad because that person has refused. Me, I believe in dialogue. I believe in dialogue whereby if my spouse has refused, you will try to show them the reality, because I told you guys, especially when you're a parent, think about those children, guys. Think about them. Think about them. Think about their future. Think about where are they go. I'm not saying that they cannot survive in Africa. Yes, they can, but you have this opportunity of a lifetime. You cannot deny that to your children. It's wrong. So talk with your spouse and tell them, I understand that you don't want to go, and it's okay. But why don't we do it for the sake of our children? Because when children come here, guys, they have so many opportunities. They do have so many opportunities. You know, it was so sad. I was watching a clip on social media about this boy. He had finished his KCP, the primary school, and he's an orphan, and he doesn't have parents. So he showed up in a school with only a box and one dictionary. Remember, an Oxford dictionary and just a few items. And he didn't have anything. He walked to school. You know, if that child was in the US, like, they would not be having a hardship, because you find that here some people, they adopt kids who are less fortunate. And of course, if you are not able to, even if you are a low income person and you are not able, like, to meet all the ends of your family members, you still get help. You can still get help. Those kids of yours, even if you're struggling right now, when they come on this side, you know that when they go to school, they will have a better future. They will, because there will not be hassles whereby you have to go and you have to know this person for them to whatever, to get a good job, or you have to know this person even to get them to whatever, some, you know, something that can help them. It is not like that here. So for the sake of our children, we have to rise up and, you know, just overcome those stereotypes whereby the people, people, and I like talking about it because it's a reality, whereby people say that when people come to the US, they change, whatever, whatever. No, they don't. It depends on individuals, guys. It does depend on an individual. So what I can tell you is just look at it on the brighter side. Look at it on the brighter side, and you can still bring your family. And then, if you really, really, really do not want to stay here, go back home. Nobody is going to ask you when you go back home. Unless you are the kind of person who does not want the spouse to excel. Because there are some people who are like that. And that's a very bad thing that people should change. You know, we rise by lifting others. So it's very, very important for you to think about it. So do not become the stumbling block or the hurdle for your family. You have won the DV lottery. It's a good thing, guys. Do you know how many people, like, covet that green card? Hmm? You know, even here in the US, you find that if you go at the border of Mexico, you'll find so many people who want to come in. They have their country, yes, in Mexico, but they want to come into the US because US, there is opportunities, guys. This is not this is not like something that I make up here. No, there's opportunities. Where did you go and you just landed into a country and you went and did just a course for 1 month, and you started earning some money? Look at those people who have come. You know, when I grew up, I remember when we were little, there were my uncle. He was very well off, and he would employ people from Uganda to tend for his cattle because he had so many cows and all that. Hmm? Those people had used to come from, and the people who have grown up in the tea plantation areas, especially in I grew up in Kiambu County, and there's a lot of tea plantations. You find that Ugandans were so many, and they would come in and they would do like picking tea. You know, they work in the farms. You see what I mean? And you find that here, the sky is the limit. You will come, you start low, yes, but as you progress, as you go to school, you'll be fine. So it's very, very important for us, like, to be aware of these things and not to regret later. Because when we check the DV lottery on that time, when they start processing from October of this year up to September 30th of 2024, when it's gone, it's gone. So it's very, very important. If your family applied and one of the spouse has won, do not be a stumbling block. I would say that with all honesty and with all respect, because it's what it is, guys. It's what it is. So it's very, very important for you to do that. So I think I have talked about most of the questions. What I have not talked about, we're going to talk about it tomorrow. Tomorrow I will do my live show from 10, I think from no, from 11, from 11 a.m. so that by the time the website is open, then we can just check, and I'll tell you if it's open. You can even check on your own. I don't have to tell you, but the people who will be live with me, you will see how it will look like, because I will open that website, and then if you have won, then we will celebrate. We are going to celebrate. So guys, all I can do is wish you all the best when you are waiting for tomorrow, and just hope for a bright future for you who has been yearning to come and live in the US, and even for your children. So thank you, and God bless you.